And we are right here. Welcome, everybody, to the Pantsless Podcast. My name is Tamala. With me here today is Gradigan Northern Savant. Hello.
Hey, yo.
Also, to address real quick, where is Trevor? Trevor will not be attending today. He has some personal stuff he needs to deal with. So we're gonna do this episode with Pikachu instead, and there's some things on screen that you're not supposed to see. This is yet another Pantsless Podcast episode where we begin with minor technical difficulties. Mainly my inability to produce a fucking episode without hitches. But welcome everyone, and how's my esteemed group of dudes doing today?
Good. I tried to get some sleep before podcast. It was a disaster, and I feel more tired than ever. But let's go. Got some good old cup of Joe here.
Nice. Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Keep me awake.
Just got home from work, ready to do some podcasting.
Nice.
Cast the pod.
Yeah, we're gonna wing this entire episode, by the way. Get fucking ready, people. We usually use a docket. Not usually. Every episode has a docket. Except this one. It's blank. But don't you worry. I have some things written down. But this will be the test of the real wing it kind of deal. And yeah. So Trevor is not on this episode. He has personal stuff to deal with, so we're gonna do this 3-man. And somewhere in the middle of this episode, I will talk about very special things regarding to the podcast. There's going to be major changes coming out starting next month, but I'll go over those somewhere around the middle. I also noticed that my the topic that is on stream that people can see is all fucked up. So, you know, just the normal things again.
Yeah, it's a wing it episode. They don't need to know the topic.
Fuck it. So
It's
I mean,
welcome.
yeah. So Joe, you've been after the last month, the Witcher series came out, and everyone's been talking about it, of course. And Joe, being Joe, and he likes that stuff. He also watched that show, and then he was like, "Man, I sure do want to play some Witcher," just like everybody else was, but including me. So everybody, after the show ended, everyone went on to play Witcher, but they played Witcher 3, me included. Joe, me being Joe, he's like, "Fuck all of y'all. I'm going back to the beginning."
I mean, if there's one thing that I can say about me is I don't like to do things out of order. I mean, I started on Final Fantasy 1, and that's not even really a series. Yeah, I started playing the first Witcher, and I had heard a lot that people were like, just play the third one. The first two are so poop, it's not even worth it. Just play the third one. And it honestly was, it's not, I mean, it's not an amazing game by any means, but it's much better. Maybe it is because my expectations were so low. But it was much better than I was expecting it to be. The combat is a little repetitive because you basically just click and then your guy swings, and then you click again, and he swings a few times, and that's like your whole combo. That's how you do combos. Is there's like a little icon, and that may be the same in the current ones, but just the that, and then you switch between battle stances, which is kind of cool. So you have like a stance for a little, like a quick guy, a big guy, and then groups. So you've got to like constantly shift between those depending on who you're fighting, and it definitely has aged. I don't know if I would say it's aged well, but it's far from as bad as everyone is making it out to be. And there's the opening cutscene to the game is basically a shot for shot I don't want to say remake, but it's a shot for shot scene of a pretty cool scene in the show too. And they do reference a lot of stuff that happens in the show, and I'm not even that far in. I'm only like 3, maybe 4 hours into the game, and they've already referenced a ton of stuff that happens in the show. So I'm thinking that where the show ends is kind of where Witcher 1 begins.
Yeah, I'm not sure like where the first game in the timeline like fits to the books or the TV show. A friend of mine who has played all of the games said that all the games happen after the books. So I'm guessing the first one is not like it has to be after the show. It has to be if it's after the books.
Yeah, they like I said, I don't know if it's immediately after, or I mean it's soon enough after that they still talk about the events in the show that are impacting what's going on in the game. So even if I know it may not be immediately after, but it's soon enough after that they're still talking about what the events of the show have like in the world. So it's definitely I would probably recommend playing Witcher 1 instead of just jumping straight to 3. At least give it a shot. It's like $2 most of the time on Steam.
Oh, okay. I never actually played the first and second Witcher, but how's the combat style? You said you have like different stances. Is it something like you have in Neo, where you have like 3 different attack modes?
Yeah, it is. That? It's a lot like that. Actually, it's pretty much exactly like that. You have like CZ, V, or whatever those 3 keys down there are, and those are your 3 different stances. So actually switching them around is how you fight a lot of your enemies. And it does get a little tricky whenever you're fighting, because you can tell like the group form is made for like groups of little guys, but sometimes you fight groups of big guys and there's not really an answer to that. You just kind of have to like hit one, run away until he's away from the group, and then whack him a bunch, and then that's probably the only bad side to the whole thing, because I don't know if it does less damage if there's only one, but just don't even use the group attack if it's not actually a group, because it's going to take forever.
I've also heard
it's got that and spells and a few different weapons, but so far most of the time I'm just swinging with the sword.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that the story or the stories in Witcher 1 and the decisions you have to make are more morally ambiguous compared to like the third game mostly. I mean, most people, most of us that have played any Witcher game have only played the third game. And then a smaller group of people have played the second and third game. And I think the first game is the one that is pretty obscure to the majority of gamers, at least.
Yeah. And I could definitely see that. Like I said, it's definitely not as straightforward as like your modern action adventure RPG games are. I mean, it's got a lot that you've got to kind of look into. It definitely is from that era of like Dragon Age and things like that. You can tell that, you know, it's from like the early 2010s, because there is a lot of stuff that you've got to like. You can tell it was heavily influenced more by like, because I think it may have been out after, but there's a lot of stuff that it takes from earlier Elder Scrolls type stuff. So it's very much like you need to talk to people to figure out what you're doing. You don't really have a quest log to speak of. You do have one, but unless it is like a specific person that you need to go talk to or kill, it really doesn't tell you much. It's like it gives you a kind of a general idea of the area you've got to go and what you need to do, but unless it is a specific thing, you've got to talk to people around town and figure out where they are.
I can imagine that really like appeals to people who have played those old school RPGs, where it wasn't like a whole lot of handhelding and you have to like figure shit out for yourself. Like I necessarily don't really like those types of old school RPGs myself, but I do have respect for them, and I do know that people who really played those old RPGs necessarily don't really jive well with modern day RPGs because of the hand holding and stuff. And I do think that the term RPG is extremely bastardized at this point, and has lost a lot of its meaning, much like Metroidvania has. Or I mean, I think RPG is probably the most like misused label at this point.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Whenever I heard someone say that, there was a lot of people trying to say that Breath of the Wild, that's what it was. The Breath of the Wild was an RPG. I'm like, because you have armor? Because you have gear? That doesn't make. That's not what that means.
Yeah, I don't. I can't really put like a Zelda game in the RPG genre myself. You're not.
I heard quite a few people trying to shoehorn it on there, and I'm like, not really.
Well, you gotta know.
Say it has like a RPG elements, and that's about it. Yeah,
but having RPG elements and calling your game an RPG is, in my mind at least, like two different things.
Yeah.
And like Chad is saying, RPG is a sauce, not a genre. I think that's a good way actually to put it.
Yeah.
Like a really old school true RPG game. I mean, I don't think anybody really makes those anymore.
Except for like the little indie studios that make things like Undertale and stuff like that. I mean the type of RPGs we saw 25 years ago just it's not at all the same.
Mm. Would you recommend Witcher 1 though? For like the average gamer?
For the average gamer, probably not, just because there is a lot of little things that, just because I'm okay with playing older games and I accept that they're kind of clunky a lot of the time, there's a lot of stuff that I just put up with that I don't know that other people would. Given its age and how cheap it is, about 99% of the time, I probably would tell someone to try it if they find it on sale, because you can seriously get it for like $1. But if you can't find it on sale, I probably wouldn't worry about it, because there just are games that do it better. Unless you just want to go through Geralt's stories and just figure it out and go through all of that, then I probably wouldn't bother. If you're just wanting to do it to play in the Witcher universe and be the badass that he is, then just go ahead and go to 3.
Yeah, having not played the game myself, I do think Witcher 1 probably it has aged. Has it aged gracefully? Maybe not so much. The combat looks kind of jank. If it works, it works, but it definitely does not look flashy.
Yeah,
and
it isn't. And I feel like I need to describe, because I just said you kind of click and then you click again. But what I mean whenever I say that is, like, you attack and he starts swinging a bunch, and then your cursor lights up like orange for you to click again, because that'll like extend your combo. So all you're doing, you're not even watching the people really. If you're fighting one guy or like a group of little guys, you're not even really paying attention to him, because he has like an auto follow thing. So you just swing, click, click.
So it's a QTE battle system.
It basically is. It's like timed attacks or quick time. That's the combat. It's nothing super flashy, but they end up dead.
I guess it could work.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's basically like Sekiro. You just have to time your attacks, but you just don't have anything to highlight with. You just have to know when it's coming.
Yeah,
sure. Sekiro though is way more flashier. Like like if you remove the flashiness of Sekiro, then sure, you can compare them like almost identical. It's like I would describe Sekiro's combat system as completely QTE from start to finish, because that's what you're doing. You're blocking attacks and then you strike at the right moment. I mean, you can't really be more QT in that.
I mean, that's pretty fair, but it's just like in Sekiro, just because of the amount of movement options and stuff, and most action adventure RPGs these days, the combats are just a lot more involved than what they are in Witcher. It just seems like unless it's a big group that, like I was saying earlier, you've got to like kite around and run. It's pretty brain dead. It's a pretty brain dead combat system. Because I have magic, like I have a fire spell and I have some like force spell. I just swing the sword.
The fire spell is called Igni, and the force push is called Ard. Pfft, are you not a nerd enough, huh?
Both of these things are. I actually just got Igni. I've tried to use it, and it's just not worth it. It's just I'd rather keep on clicking.
Yeah, Igni in the third game is also like obviously a fire spell. It's not meant to be like used as the primary offensive attack. It is mostly meant to, at least in the third game, is to light shit on fire so that they start wailing around trying to put the fire out so you get free hits in. Or yeah, I mean that's basically it. It very rarely is used as a this is my means to kill stuff.
Gotcha. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say if you're curious enough and you actually want to know the story of The Witcher, I would recommend it. But if you're just wanting to play as Geralt and be a badass, just go to 3.
And the third game is highly popular. After the show came out on Netflix, it broke records. It broke the concurrent amount of players fucking 5 years after release.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's, and I mean the meme is that, especially on Reddit, that Witcher 3 is like this flawless game, and nobody can say anything critical about the third game, and it's like praise Geraldo and stuff like that. They misspell Geralt's name up like on purpose and shit. And like I don't know, and I mean shit. I think Witcher 3 is the best RPG game that I've ever played. Action adventure RPG game. Like truly, it's kind of the benchmark for me for any sort of game with RPG mechanics or action adventure.
Also, the Netflix series broke some kind of records too, or like is about to break for like the most watched first season on Netflix or something like that.
The show really is kind of decisive or decisive. It's
divisive.
Not divisive, yeah. A lot of the critical reception has been kind of poor or negative, or just kind of slap in the middle, while fans and just regular watchers rated higher. And there's this one review that got notoriously bad now. It went super viral. I think it was from I don't remember the publication. What happened was they watched 3 episodes, like the first episode, and then like the second episode, and then like the 5th episode, or something like that. And then they wrote the review, like criticizing the entire show, and that it's shit. And I mean, if you're a professional like writer or a reviewer for shows, books, whatever, games, whatever, I mean, finish the fucking thing and then have your opinions.
It's like 8 episodes, like come on.
It's not like you're trying to review like Supernatural with 22 episodes, 15 seasons. It's 8 hours. That is one working day. You couldn't do your job for one working day.
And it's amazing because the review, it's written primarily, it's supposed to be this dude who writes it, but he opens up with that he couldn't sit through the first episode even, so he enlisted the help of his friend, this chick, and she watched the 2 other episodes, and then they like combined thoughts and then wrote this piece of shit article. I mean, it's unreal how like unprofessional they were. I mean, I don't understand. It kind of felt like they did it on purpose to get people riled up, to get people clicking on the link or the article and reading it. Because I mean, everyone knows that clicking on the article is what generates the revenue. But I mean, motherfuckers.
Still kind of rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I think the production company and Netflix, they mostly care if people watch it, and apparently people have watched it, so it's greenlit for the second season, which Henry Cavill revealed on like his Instagram. He was just walking somewhere and was like, "Oh, thanks for watching, everyone. And we're gonna start filming the second season soon." And that's how they fucking announce these things these days. Actors walking on the street and it'll be like, "Oh, thanks, and we're gonna continue doing this," with absolutely no fanfare. But social media is a weird thing, and I don't understand how it works, so I should not talk about that. All right, we got some E3 news. It's already starting, people. I mean, I know we're early, but fuck it. The early bird catches nothing, because this story is weeks old at this point. Sony, it started with a rumor that Sony's gonna skip yet another E3. When it was still a rumor, I thought they're not gonna be that fucking crazy, because the PS5 is coming out this year. Like 6 months. The E3 is 6 months before the fucking release of this new console, the next generation. But lo and behold, then Sony said, "Nah, fuck it, we're not gonna do this shit anymore." And so Sony's skipping. And I think it's weird. But again, I'm not a Sony executive, so I don't know what I'm talking about, I guess.
I bet the console is gonna get postponed.
You think?
Yep. And also, I would like to point out that before we had a picture of the new generation Xbox, I called the Xbox box, and it definitely looks like a Xbox box.
Yeah, it definitely does.
We get the hot takes. I'm gonna fucking latch on to this. You think that the PS5 will be delayed? That's a bold statement. I'm gonna hold you to that.
But why wouldn't they attend E3?
So Sony said in their official, this is what they said. After thorough evaluation, Sony Interactive Entertainment has decided not to participate in E3 2020, said an Sony Interactive Entertainment spokesperson. "We have great respect for the ESA and their organization, but do not feel the vision of E3 2020 is the right venue for what we are focused on this year." What they're talking about, the vision, I did a little bit of digging about this. Only recently have E3 permitted people to attend E3, just regular dudes. It up until that point, for like 2 decades or some shit, it was strictly just press. And last year, the ESA is the governing body of video games in the United States, and they organize E3. They fucked up royally last year when they accidentally doxed hundreds of journalists. I don't remember why that fuck up happened. And it's really no secret that Sony doesn't really like these new things that they do on E3, mainly the letting the public in, and Sony somehow took it like super personal about the fuck up last year. I don't know why. I guess like some Sony people got doxxed too, I guess. But people are mainly speculating that the vision of E3 being more interactive. Like they have these things that when you're in a queue waiting to see a game, if you use the right hashtags and shit, you get like some benefits from that thing. So it's more of a even more of a hype show than it has been in like previous years. And apparently Sony does not like that. They said that they're gonna demo the thing and stuff on hundreds of other events this year. And I'm personally like, hundreds of events in a year? I don't remember that being so many. But yeah.
I don't know why, as like a company, why you wouldn't like hype shows. Hype is just money waiting to happen. Literally, hype is money waiting to happen. Why wouldn't you want to be there? That doesn't even make any sense to me. But I am also not a Sony executive. But you would think that you would want to get people there to hype them up as much as possible. Because there's no telling how many people at the end of any E3 are pre-ordering the games that they just saw at E3. I mean, I don't even want to hazard a guess. It's got to be in the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people pre-ordering games that week. I mean, before they even really have a release date. Why wouldn't you want to go out there and just get money?
And
that just seems counterproductive to me.
And I think it's odd because, I mean, whatever the opinion of E3 is that Sony has, it is still the biggest video game show of the year, or convention, or whatever you want to call it. If you're not going to demo your new console that you're going to be selling for the next 7 to 10 years, where are you going to demo it? Where are you going to hype up people to buy this console for the upcoming Christmas holidays? Are you going to do it at Gamescom in the middle of the summer? Or whatever PAX, wherever they are these days, PAX East, West, South, North, whatever. What else are you going to do? Promo it on those Japanese conventions that nobody outside of Japan watches. Tokyo Game Show is not included in those, but still. And I mean, however I try to slice this shit, it feels like Sony is shooting themselves in the foot.
Because it's gonna get delayed.
Hot take.
Dude, I think it's to rework their logo. That's probably what it is. They just gotta spice that thing up. Because I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the PS5 logo in chat real fast. Here it is.
Yeah.
There it is. I recreated perfectly. Same font. That is the PS5 logo in chat. You guys can take that, spread it around. Because that's basically that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I found the joke funny when somebody took that picture of all the other journalists taking the fucking picture of the fucking PS5 font. I mean, somewhere in there, there's this joke about cynicism and how much like shit we eat up. But it was fucking stupid. But yeah, who knew that unveiling a logo causes so much press?
Somehow the logo reminds me of the banana that got taped on the wall and got sold for like 150K or something. Like, oh, it's a banana, like revolutionary.
Yeah, me and Trevor, I don't know if anybody else was in voice, but me and Trevor had a lengthy discussion about what is art and what constitutes art. Trevor has some form of art degree, or at least like went to some form of like art classes. I will come out and say that I know nothing about art. And I can get behind the idea that everything is art, because that's really where this is going. They taped a fucking banana to the wall, and some dude just went up to the banana, ripped the tape off, and ate the banana. And somehow that is just like quintessential art, and somehow it's a fucking banana taped to the fucking wall with duct tape. I don't understand. Like that's where my stupidity, like, it reaches its limits, when I don't understand anymore.
Dude, I'm convinced that fine art is just one giant money laundering scheme. I think that's the only reason fine art sells for that much.
No, I mean, yeah.
You laugh, North, but think about it, dude. What easier way to get dirty money clean than buy something that has no actual tangible? I can just say whatever it's worth. You want to buy?
Yeah.
You want to buy this cup? It's art, $50,000, dude. I mean, I'll just give you my dirty money. You sell this. I sell this to you. Boom, clean 50,000 for a cup.
Yeah,
the giant money laundering game, dude. Fine art is BS. You can enjoy art, but selling art, I think, is BS.
It's a huge, like, I don't know. I hesitate to call it a conspiracy. I mean, it officially it's probably a conspiracy, but a lot of people think that the art world is just a huge money laundering scheme, and I fucking agree because I don't understand. I don't understand how you can look at a painting and pay like $500,000 for it. I don't understand. And like what you said, it really rings true that it has no tangible like value. It's just what you say it is valued, and then people either agree or disagree with you, and that's the art of value.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like I said, if you think something is beautiful and you want to own it and stuff, I don't know why it's like. It's just a big club for people to wave their money wangs around. Like, look, I have so much money. I just spent $1 million on a painting. I'm never gonna look at it.
And in 2 years, I'm gonna sell it for $1.2 million.
Exactly.
Boom.
I put it in my 32nd bedroom on the other end of my mansion, so I'm never even gonna see that bitch. I spent $1 million on it because I could. Poor people. That's it. That's art. I answered my own question. That's art.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I'm too stupid to talk about art.
Yeah.
Like quite literally. I have lost my mouse. Where is it? There it is. Thank you. Also, because Sony is skipping E3, the ESA made an official statement on Sony's. I just want to show this because this is truly kind of amazing. We're gonna. Oh shit! There's a Dan's pictures also there. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna.
Yeet.
I have no idea what the other thing is there.
It's fine.
It's fucking fine. We're winging it. I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger. So it's ESA statement on Sony E3 2020, and I'll read that. E3 is a signature event celebrating the video game industry and showcasing the people, brands, and innovations redefining entertainment loved by billions of people around the world. E3 2020 will be an exciting, high-energy show featuring new experiences, partners, exhibitor spaces, activations, and programming that will entertain new and veteran attendees alike. Exhibitor interest in our new activations is gaining the attention of brands that view E3 as a key opportunity to connect the video game fans worldwide. What the fuck is this? How does this relate to Sony skipping E3? What statement is this? Why is this? Who made this? What's the point of it?
This is just buzzwords, the article.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I read. No fucking idea. And you can blame that on my lack of English knowledge. I would disagree. I think my English is pretty good. And this right here is like bullshit from start to finish.
I think what they're trying to sell here with this quote is that they want like more people to come in, like not necessarily like
this is the
borders
selling
and stuff, like, but they want Sony and other companies there.
See, what confuses me is they titled this entire page with ESA statement on Sony E3 2020 announcement. This is what confuses me. It's supposed to be what they think about Sony skipping. Yet it's just this. And yeah, you're right, North. They're selling something. This is what I highlighted is what they're selling. But like Joe said, it's buzzword after buzzword. This is nothing. This tells me nothing about anything.
It's almost like this was an automated response.
Yeah.
This just reads like a generic like description of E3. So it's almost like a journalist sent them and was like, "Hey, what do you guys think about it, Sony?" And then some intern in the back was just like, "Okay."
It feels like they're like, if you think about it, what they're like thinking when they wrote this is something like, "It's too bad you couldn't make it or you don't want to come, but we're still happy to have you if you decide to change your mind." And at that, they feel like it's a missed opportunity if they don't attend there. That's what I feel like they're trying to say here. But,
wow, look at North deciphering bullshit.
What?
Yeah, I like
because it's a missed opportunity. If you're not there,
yeah, I can agree. I can agree that it's a missed opportunity. Yeah, I just wanted to show this because this is absurd. I'm in my mind.
It's almost like they're saying, which I still think it's just a generic answer, just because it doesn't even mention Sony. I feel like this is just a generic answer, but if it's not, and someone actually did think this out whenever they typed it, it's like they're just saying, well, just because Sony's not here doesn't mean it's not going to be a great event. And I'm sure it probably will still be a great event without Sony.
I mean, should all watch it.
Yeah.
But it literally in the title says statement on Sony, and then the actual thing never mentions Sony in any way. And it has this will be exciting high energy show featuring new experiences, partners, exhibitor spaces, activations and programming that will entertain new and veteran attendees alike. What the
I'm honestly not sure why they keep using the phrase. I am a native English speaker, and I don't know why they keep saying activations.
I don't know what that is.
What is an activation?
I don't know. I have no idea what this is. Like anybody in chat, if you know what activations mean when in the context of a event or convention, what the fuck is this? Because I have absolutely no idea what this is.
Are they trying to like activate the community or the gamers or?
See, I think this is one of those things that they started doing, like those, if you use the right hashtags at the right moment, you get perks and stuff, or you have influencers going around with like trying to hype up people. Is that the activations? Like, brand activation events are usually one-time affairs that encourage customers or the public to engage with a product or to see the brand in a new way. You might hear them called experimental marketing too. These events or occasional stunts differ by brand and market. Oh, okay.
So it's customer interaction basically.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get out there and interact with the customer in some way.
Like an offshoot of marketing.
Yeah, it's just also still marketing. They just want to give it a fancy name. It's just marketing.
Buzzwords. Nice.
Buzzwords, yeah, it's a buzzword.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure Sony will still be fine. I mean, if they just keep the gravy train that they're rolling on going into the next generation, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I feel like, especially like how Microsoft and Sony are dealing these days, I think they're not really competing anymore. Microsoft has kind of conceded the entire console wars or whatever. They're really focusing on bringing Xbox and PC together, and Sony is focusing hard on, trying to have exclusives and like a great console.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that just in the last like 5 years, the game for them has totally changed. For sure. It's not a war against each other anymore. It's a war of relevance.
And actually, in tying in a little bit, Xbox Game Studios, the head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty, actually said that when with the Xbox Series X console, they're going to forego exclusives entirely. But when he says that, I think that not every Xbox game necessarily will be on PlayStation, but I think they're gonna aim more at like not having like real exclusives anymore. And I mean, they haven't had those for fucking I don't know how many years.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably accurate. They just say no exclusive so they can have them on PC too and not be a liar.
Mm-hmm.
It's still technically a Microsoft exclusive, but it's not a platform exclusive.
Yeah.
It could be console exclusive if they release it on PS and Xbox, but not PS5.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are the types of exclusives, like to have it Xbox and PC. When he says exclusives, I mean they've used the term exclusive on Xbox in the past when that's not even true, because the games they talk about are on PC. So I'm not really sure what type of exclusives he means. Does he mean that every game will be on PlayStation? Because that just sounds dumb. I mean, this is just pure speculation at this point. I believe that the upcoming Xbox will be very, very close to an actual PC, and I think development for Xbox games in the future will be pretty identical to developing a game for PC. And with that, I believe that that's the reason why every game will be on Xbox and PC.
Yeah. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the near future we started seeing like PC peripherals for the Xbox. Like if they started actually selling more like an Xbox keyboard and people actually started like making more apps for the Xbox, I could definitely see it turning into kind of a pseudo PC setup. Because that's, I mean, now there's nothing, back in the day they had like custom chipsets for consoles and things like that. But I mean, the PS5 and the Xbox are just they're PCs in a shell.
Isn't this year Xbox gonna be like a lot more powerful than the PS5? Or am I like delusional or something?
Have we got I know that we've gotten some specs for the PS5. I don't know if we've gotten any for the Xbox.
Yeah, I don't believe there's any specs for the Xbox yet.
Yeah. And I know we don't have any like hard specs for the PS5, but I know that we have heard like certain things about like how big the hard drive is going to be, and that it'll be able to put out like 8K and stuff like that.
You know what would be a ballsy move for Xbox to make, or like Microsoft? They would have to make the console extremely powerful, make a game for the Xbox, and then release it on PS2. But the PS5 wouldn't be powerful enough to run it, so it wouldn't run well. So you'd have the perfect marketing.
Yeah.
I thought they gave out some specs for the Xbox at E3 last year. Yeah, now that you say that, it sounds familiar. I think they just talked about like general specs though. And but yeah,
I think it had to do with something like super fast SSD or something like that. Like they're gonna have the loading time down to like 1/10 of what it's supposed to be.
Now that you mentioned that, I do remember that. I think the next generation of Xbox is going to come with a stock 1 terabyte SSD. Does that ring a bell? Because I do remember them saying that it was going to come with an SSD just out the box.
No. Oh shit! If they actually commit to that, I wonder if it pressures Sony to do the same thing. Because right now, I think Sony does not have any plans on having like a SSD by default.
That seems kind of dumb because like SSDs nowadays are like almost cheaper than HDDs.
Yeah, they're definitely way more affordable than they
and reliable.
Yeah, like I personally Sony, if you don't put an M2 SSD in the PS5 as a default, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you.
Man, putting them on blast. But I agree, Sony. Don't mess it up.
Don't fuck this up.
Imagine having to wait like 10 years to get another PS that would actually have a SSD.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they could make like PS5 Pro with high-speed SSD. Let's go.
Oh, they will definitely make multiple upgraded versions of the consoles.
Yeah. It'll definitely we'll definitely have a PS5 Pro for sure.
Or whatever they decide to name it, but yeah, we definitely will have it.
They're not that clever. It'll be PS5 Pro.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I actually completely agree with that one.
I mean, we saw the logo.
It's the big brains on work here.
Here's the... There we go. there's a little, just a little look behind the curtains at Sony.
You gotta email like, I don't know, some Sony executive and just demand money for that. Look, dudes, I made your Pro logo in advance.
Probably gonna get swatted any time now after they find out I got their secrets.
Oh damn! Quick, build a bunker, dude. All right. So January has just started. We just started a new decade and everything. We haven't even mentioned that. It's the new decade, new year. But truthfully, it's the same shit. And this has been a wild January in terms of delays in games. I'm just typing that shit out there. There's been a lot of delays this month for upcoming games, which saddened me a little bit, a few of them. But so thus far, the games that have been delayed: Cyberpunk got delayed to September, Final Fantasy VII got delayed till April, it's the shortest of the delays. Avengers got delayed until September, and Dying Light 2 got delayed from spring to nothing. It comes out when it's ready.
And also some game called Iron Man VR, if you're into VR games.
Iron Man VR?
Yeah. Probably the most anticipated virtual reality game of 2020. Got hit with the delay.
According by the developer, of course. With the ambitious part, you know.
Yeah. But imagine being like Tony Stark flying in the sky with an Iron Man suit on. Sounds pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably for the VR players, yeah. The delays happened, and after that some rumors came out, and one of the more funnier ones I saw on Reddit was someone claiming to know somebody who works for Crystal Dynamics, and those are the guys who are developing the Avengers game. According to this dude, he said that it's probably not true, but I still find it funny, that they delayed Avengers until September to dodge Cyberpunk, and just days after that they delayed Cyberpunk until September. It's probably not true, but it's still funny. Cyberpunk got delayed, and they, in the official statement, they said, "Oh yeah, we're squashing bugs. We just need more time." And sure, works. After that, though, there was a Polish podcaster who revealed, again, probably not true, maybe true, I don't know. I could lean more on the true side on this one, that they're pushing the release date because of console limitations that are right now. Meaning, probably going to be a visual downgrade when the game comes out, because current gen consoles are fucking eons of age at this point, and the PC version will probably get the same graphical downgrade. The same happened with Witcher 3, by the way. It also sparked the discussion on the game will probably be developed for the upcoming consoles, although the studio CEO said that they have no plans on that yet. But again, who knows? I mean, I think CD Projekt Red is, in my mind, thus far, they're known for showing their games in a more beautiful way than what the game is actually going to look like. I do have to say, though, that The Witcher 3, even with the graphical downgrade, it doesn't look bad. And I can hardly... I don't think that Cyberpunk will look bad either.
Of the delays, like I understand the 2 September delays, because that if you just need more time, you need more time. That's fine. I don't understand the Final Fantasy one. It's like 2.5 or 3 weeks.
It's over a month. It's like a month and a half.
Is it? I thought it was like from the 22nd of March to like the 10th of April.
It was supposed to come out March 3rd.
Oh, okay.
And then now it comes out April 16th or whatever, 17th, whatever. But it's still, I do understand, it's still like let's call it a month. A month is not a whole lot of time in game development. You can't I don't know what you do with a month of time. I mean, sure, you can squash bugs or whatever. But it's still, I don't know.
I do think you could get a lot done in a month, but I don't think you could get a lot done to a satisfaction. Like I don't think that you could squash a lot of bugs and then still have enough time to find any new possible bugs. Like that's not enough time for someone to do all that work and then make sure that all that work is good. I don't feel. I might be wrong. I'm no developer, but I feel like that's just not enough time for them to do too much and then also make sure that everything else is still fine.
And here's the thing, after the game comes out, we're still gonna get patches. There's still gonna be bugs that they're gonna fix. I mean, with millions of players around the world who, without their knowledge, they send all the client-side information to Sony, they're gonna squash bugs based on those, bug reports and stuff.
Yeah.
And in other news, Half-Life 3 is still being delayed, and Half-Life Alyx is slated for a March release without a release date. So place your bets now. Will Half-Life Alyx be delayed or not?
I think I just looked it up, and it had release date on October, I think.
For Alyx?
I might be wrong. And also, talk about Half-Life. You can now play Half-Life 1, 2, plus episodes 1 and 2 for free for 2 months now, if you want to play that.
That's pretty cool. That is nice that they're giving people that opportunity to kind of catch up on it before they release Alyx.
Yeah, but still, it's kind of why not just give the games away I don't know, Epic Games?
Yeah, I mean, Half-Life is what? 20, 25 years old? How many
20.
How many copies of Half-Life do you think Valve sells?
I'd say that they probably still managed to sell copies of Half-Life here and there.
Oh yeah,
probably.
Alyx didn't have any release date, but it was the other one. What's it called?
Yeah, I only found the March.
Oh yeah, the Absolute Zero. That had the release date on October 12th.
What's Absolute Zero?
Half-Life Absolute Zero. I have no idea what it is, but it's here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard about Absolute Zero.
Reviews. This is essentially the closest that you can get to Half-Life beta content.
Okay, Half-Life Absolute Zero is a fan-made total conversion modification of the award-winning Half-Life. So it's not an official Half-Life product.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think there's a bunch of different remasters or remakes of Half-Life by fans. I think they've been doing those for the past, I don't know, fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
They pop up on social media from time to time and they go viral and then everybody forgets about them.
I think the biggest one is that Black Mesa version that's Half-Life 1 on the Half-Life 2 engine, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me Black Mesa is also the most recognizable of the mods. And I did see a developer diary video of Black Mesa. They said that they've done a lot of. They showed the intro sequence to Half-Life within the Half-Life 2 engine, and it looks good. But again, you're remaking a 10-plus-year-old game, and it might be just a matter of time until Valve just decides to not let you sell that or distribute it anywhere.
Yeah.
So is it worth it in a sense?
I don't know, but I do know that I'm not really that mad about these delays, just because it was tight. The first quarter of this year was tight.
Tight.
I'm glad it's being spread out a little bit.
I had completely selfish reasons why I got mad about both, because I scheduled my remaining vacation days for these releases, and now they're not happening on those releases. Now I got my Final Fantasy vacation scheduled to the new release date. Essentially, I can't do it obviously for Cyberpunk. So, I mean, I'm gonna be off work for the entirety of the month of April now. That's final. And yeah, I mean, it saddens me that I don't get to play Cyberpunk in April. Whatever, I'll take 2 weeks off in September.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of other games. Resident Evil 3, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy 7, and yeah, it's not like there's no games.
Even with the 4 or 5 delays we got, there's still plenty of games that are going to be coming out. You're definitely not going to be lacking on anything to play, for sure.
And I obviously still, the indie cycle is weird. It's hard to keep track of all the indies, and I don't know what indie games are coming out. Usually I just find them randomly on Twitch or on YouTube, so. And that's like, I like those types of things when I just find a game that's already out. And it's, oh, this looks cool. Oh shit, it's just like $2, and oh fuck it, I'll play it.
Yeah. Also, for those Epic boycotters, March, I believe, is the 6th month for Borderlands 3. So for those of us that don't like Epic, we can finally play Borderlands 3. So I will definitely be picking that up.
Yeah. I'll be interested in seeing if Borderlands gains like a surge of popularity on Twitch again when it releases on Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be pretty curious about that too.
But yeah, hopefully we like I do accept any delays. Like if developers need more time to finish their products, take it. Obviously, like if you put up, like, don't be like EA. Essentially, what I'm saying is, don't put half-baked shit out there, like Anthem, or Bethesda in this case. Don't put like, and I mean, Fallout 76 is just, it's still a goddamn mess, but
yeah, as long as they don't delay it just so they can put more pay-to-win stuff, I'll be okay. As long as it's they're, because I'd rather wait for a good game than have garbage shoved down my throat now. So,
and every time a game gets delayed, there's people on social media circulating this Shigeru Miyamoto quote that he says something like, a delayed game will be good eventually, but a rushed game will forever be bad, or something like that.
Right.
Which, I mean, yeah.
I mean, even if they patch it and make a bad game good, everyone's gonna remember how bad it was. Like, No Man's Sky has taken a complete 180, and it's a perfectly playable game now, and it's actually a lot of fun. No one's gonna forget the shit show that it started out as.
Did any of you guys see Internet Historian's video on No Man's Sky?
I did. It was really entertaining.
I actually have a little bit more respect for Sean Murray after watching that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inclined to believe what was told in the video, that he was just put in a situation that he had no tools to like survive from. But it doesn't excuse him going on stage and telling people what is going to be in his game on release, and then those features being nowhere. There's a difference between being an introvert and not handling being on a stage, and being an introvert and when you're asked, is there going to be multiplayer in game, and you telling them, yes, there's multiplayer in the game, and then the fucker comes out and it's an outright lie. There was no multiplayer. I don't care how you try to slice that shit. No multiplayer on release. Does have multiplayer now though.
Yeah. It's like
I'd say they
now it's go ahead.
Yeah, I would say they kind of nailed the multiplayer. Like I only played it a little bit, but it seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah, I've done multiplayer. Actually, I've whenever I've played it, it's almost been exclusively multiplayer, and it does work out pretty well.
Yeah.
I super enjoy the multiplayer. I'd say now is the game that they promised us 3 years ago.
Definitely.
Whenever the game released. Now we have No Man's Sky.
Definitely. And here's the thing, like what Hello Games did is amazing how they turned that game around. But make no mistake, they're unique in that way, that they managed to do that. They, after release and all the shit that went down, all the shit shows and storms and whatever, Sean Murray, he shut the fuck up. And they went silent. And then they started working on the fucking game. I mean, there's no question that they're passionate about No Man's Sky. The dev team, at least. Or at least the entire dev team probably is super passionate about it. And they managed to turn it around. I think it's an amazing feat. And those other publishers that put out like yearly garbage, they can't have that same mentality. I don't believe for a second that the suits of EA are passionate about Anthem. I don't even believe that the suits of BioWare are passionate about Anthem. It was a shit game on release. It's a shit game still, and it's going to remain a shit game. They will try to turn it around. I mean, that's what they promised at this point. Good fucking luck, BioWare.
I think in my mind, the biggest difference between how Hello Games handled their flop and virtually every AAA company is that the first thing that Anthem did whenever people started complaining was put out a roadmap. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to fix our game. Hello Games didn't do that. They didn't say what they were going to do. They just did it. They didn't say, here's what you should be expecting. Here's a timeline. They just started putting out updates. And they just started fixing their game. Instead of saying how they were going to fix it, they didn't care about what people thought at that point because they already knew. They already knew everyone was pissed off. So they didn't try to flip it around. They just started fixing the game. And I think that, like you said, they're super passionate. Those people, they wanted to make the game that they promised. They just stumbled a little bit along the way.
I feel like the person who made the roadmap for the Anthem had no idea how much people can do within a certain amount of time. And they'd be like, we'll give him like 1 week to release a new update that has basically a new DLC to the game, and then we'll rework the game in 2 months, and we'll make all these crazy promises that we can't actually deliver because we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, especially the Anthem roadmap was tighter than a squirrel's asshole. Holy shit. Like it.
What a metaphor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was weird.
It was tight.
Yeah, it was really tight. And I mean, because I remember seeing the roadmap, and they had like these major content releases like every month or something ridiculous. Like with what development team could have they achieved even that? Like it's okay to have ambitions and goals and but please keep them realistic, you know? And it's always bad when you start to promise things. Yeah, we're gonna have these world-shaping events. We're gonna have the cataclysm, which is gonna change the world in meaningful ways. Because then people expect that. Anything less than that is going to be like shit. So set the expectation somewhere where you can fucking reach them, and try to level with the audience that you're going to have. Be honest.
Or shut the fuck up and just do something and give us releases. Like, don't promise anything.
Yeah, I personally, I think it's don't promise anything.
Yeah.
Because then you have to fucking keep that promise. And if it's anything short than that promise, then people will be mad.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem about the hype culture that video games are right now, is that that people want, like I was saying earlier, hype is money, and people want that hype. They want to say what that game will be able to do and not what it currently can do.
I feel like
they like to get people all promised and all hyped up. Well, in 3 years, this game's going to be able to do all this. Just tell me what the game is. Don't tell me what it can be, because I don't care what it can be. I want to know what I can play. And
I feel like they have this fake it till you make it mentality. Like, we have these crazy ideas we can do with this game, but we don't have the time or the money to do it. So still, we're going to have it in the game. And hopefully we'll make it. I'm not sure if we're going to do it or not, but we'll say we're going to do it.
And especially, like was also said in chat about Andromeda, but I'm going to use this as an all-encompassing kind of deal. If a developer tells me that a game is an amazing experience, like anything you have ever seen before, it's like, please use the real terms. Don't use this sort of crap that doesn't mean jack shit. Telling me that I will have an amazing experience is not, first of all, it's not up to the developer to tell me. I'm deciding if I'm having an amazing experience. Nobody else can do that for me. And unlike what I've ever seen before, you don't know what I've seen before. So don't tell me what I've seen before. I know what I've seen before. You don't know it. You don't know me, and I don't know you. So you can't tell me these things that I know that you don't know. But I mean, I understand, it's marketing. You have to hype up people somehow. We're gonna have the most amazing storyline, the most amazing multiplayer. You can do all the things you ever wanted to do. It's gonna be the fucking greatest. And it's like, yes, but what can you do in the game? No one knows.
You can have an incredible experience unlike anything. Yeah. Like, okay, well now we're back at step one.
It's certainly
it's like Star Citizen. Like, they have a lot of stuff come out, but is it ever gonna be a full release? Are they ever gonna deliver all the stuff they promised? Probably no.
Hey man, don't you fucking shit on me. I paid $6,000 for a virtual spaceship. Don't you come tell me that was a bad investment. You mother...
Hey, at least you have your virtual spaceship.
that game, it's just never gonna release. That game is never coming out. That is going to be the new Duke Nukem forever. That's the next Duke Nukem. It's just never gonna come out. It's so silly. I was hyped for that game, and then like 3 years went by, and there was basically no updates except more ships to spend money on. Like, I don't care
Hype
anymore.
Simulator.
I also read somewhere that Star Citizen is like the pinnacle of pay to win. I don't know like what that will actually mean. I assume it that the bigger and better your spaceship is, the better you are in the game, which kind of feels to me like the game's intended for no one really, except the whales. Because I'm not gonna spend more than $60 on a game, you know. So if a dude comes along who's spent thousands of dollars and he's gonna squash me like the puny bug that I am in the game, I'm not gonna have fun with that game. It's the kind of the worst experience. Then the PR representative is behind me saying, "You're gonna have the most amazing experience ever."
Well, I mean, he was right. I've never experienced rage quite like that. That dude blew up my $500 spaceship. You're right. I am pissed beyond reason.
Yeah,
you got me there, PR.
See, what kind of rage do you have at that point when you've spent like $10,000 on a ship, and then the fucker right next to you spent $20,000 on a ship, and he's better than you. So you've spent this money, and you can't win the other guy because he just has a bigger wallet.
Well, have you guys? I'm assuming you both know of EVE Online.
Oh yeah.
Well, that it does have a similar thing where stuff does have like a real world value. And there was a battle. There's a whole wiki page about this battle from 2014, and it was, let me see, the estimated theoretical real world value of this one battle in EVE Online was $330,000. That's how much was lost, not how many were involved. That's how many dollars was actually lost in this battle on EVE Online, consisting of 2,600 people. Over $250,000 in one digital fight. Could you blow my mind? Blows my mind.
It's that sort of thing that it goes into that weird discussion on what value you put on different things. It's like the art thing. Some people just want to fucking do EVE Online, and they value that, so they put time and money into it. I could never do that. I'm okay paying that $60 for a game and then playing it. But fuck me if I'm gonna put more than $60. Ask me to put $70 on a game, and that's like, I don't know if I can do that really. It's odd. It's fucking odd.
Like, you have to sell something a lot more than just a game if you're gonna put $6,000 on a game.
Yeah.
You better have your own spaceship and own planets and stuff.
Yeah. I really want to know what the most expensive ship on Star Citizen is.
I bet it's something ridiculous like 100,000 or some shit.
I bet you're probably not far off. Most expensive Star Citizen. $2,500.
What?
$2,500 for a spaceship on Star Citizen.
So wait, like 2,500?
Yeah, 2,500. But
that's like
they have a ship pack. They have a pack of ships that you can buy for 27 grand.
Ah, of course.
$1,000 for a pack of ships.
When one ship is not enough.
Yeah, and you just have too much money. You just wake up one day and decide you've got too much money. And your walls are all full, so you can't buy any $1 million paintings. You just gotta start buying ships.
Yeah, dude.
Gotta spend money on that virtual stuff.
But speaking of space and spaceships, I have played a game that I have never played before. I started on Sunday and completed it yesterday. I played Alien Isolation. And it was a really, really good game. And I was really, really scared. And
where would you put your spooked levels on a scale of 1 to 10?
well, for the most spooky parts, somewhere around like 8 or 9. But then for the less spooky parts, maybe like a 2 or a 3. So it's a large spectrum, you know.
But the fact that it's always a little spooky, it's pretty spooky.
It's a spooky game. Definitely like a spooky game. And I generally I want to praise this game because it was actually really fucking good. The attention to detail they put into the game is immense. It's a huge love letter to specifically the first movie. And the spooky parts are actually really, really spooky, especially when you don't have really any means of defending yourself against the alien. There's a particular level that takes place in a medical bay or a medical wing, which is by far the most spookiest level, because you're constantly being chased by this murderous beast, and you just hide and cower in corners, and hopefully you survive. And like taking simple actions as to watch like a computer screen, for instance, in game, like you're reading things, it's nerve-wracking because you don't know if the alien's gonna find you or not. The simple act of being first person, you walking, like you hear the fucker constantly. He's in the vents, he's like stomping around, you hear him constantly. And then sometimes it gets like louder, he's closer, sometimes it gets faster, he like fucking walks slow or walks fast. It's constantly nerve-wracking because you don't know where he is. Is he close? Is he far? I have this tracker thing. Oh shit, he's really close. I can't use the tracker now because that little beeping sound. No, he hears that fucking beeping sound. And so you're constantly on your toes. It's really effective horror, at least for me. And yeah, I mean, really fucking good game. Really, really spooky. And there like I want to talk a little about the attention to detail. There's stuff that they completely lifted from the first movie. Like the when you save, you use this keycard system. It's the same keycard system they use in the movie. Near the very end of the game, there's a particular box that you're supposed to do a thing with. It's the same box Ripley uses in the first movie when she's trying to self-destruct the Nostromo. You get to go to the jockey's spaceship in a flashback sequence. You get to find the boxes the Nostromo crew left there. You get to go down where I forget what the guy's name in the movie was that got the face hugger on him. It's not Ash. Ash was the robot. Anyway, you get to go down there where he got the face hugger on. It's like it recreates like so much from the movie. It's because I watched the movie like 2 days ago in the middle of my playthrough. And because it was so fresh in my mind, I saw all those attention to detail and all those things that they put in the game, deliberately referencing the movie. It was amazing. They even had there's a little like a cuckoo thing that goes like this in the movie. Like nobody fucking remembers it. It's in like in one shot. And they put those fucking cuckoo things throughout the fucking game. They're fucking everywhere. I would have not known that if I wouldn't have like watched the movie. There's a scene when you get out of an elevator in the game, you find a dead guy who has a rolled up like magazine stuffed down his throat, which is again a reference to the movie when Ash tries to kill Ripley, Ash being the android. So it's like one of the most obvious references. The dude has been killed by an android in the game. Well, I mean, you know that when you go through that. He stuffs the magazine down the guy's throat. And in the movie, an android was trying to kill the protagonist the same way. unsuccessfully in the movie though. And I
How
did.
would you say?
Yeah, go on. Go on.
How would you say the difficulty was? Like, I noticed you struggle on few points, but you played on the hard difficulty, which the game says that it's the difficulty you're supposed to play on. So, how was that? Do you think it was too difficult or unfair?
It was not too difficult. There were parts in the game where I think the enemy AI was kind of shit. And there were a couple of parts where I died repeatedly because of the enemy AI. And it's one of those weird kind of things where you don't really know, are you making a mistake or is the game just unfair? Especially if you have no means of defending yourself. So, but you know you have to go to that room over there. But the alien patrols like every 5 seconds. So how do you fucking go to that room? And then you just look and pray, and then you go there, and then maybe you survive or maybe you don't survive. There's definitely parts where I died, where I don't really know why I died. Like the alien just fucking appears from nowhere. It's almost like it was programmed in a way that you cannot survive the game without dying at least a couple of times. That's how it feels like. But I know speedruns, they don't die.
But like a blind playthrough, there's virtually no way to avoid dying at least a few times.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. It's either that or I'm just stupid. And
yeah,
I mean,
I think that there's definitely parts in games where they have put in there just to kind of humble you a little bit. Like, oh, you thought you were doing well? You didn't know we had mimics in here, did you? And then you just die.
Yeah, I think it's part of the horror game. Like, if you don't get caught ever, you're not gonna feel overconfident and not gonna be that scared anymore. That's how I feel like.
Yeah, definitely in horror games, like if you don't think that the threat is a threat, then it diminishes the horror elements. So I think the threat actually killing you or like doing some tangible like damage, it serves as a benefit to the game itself. Just reminding you that you can actually like die. I remember when the game came out, it was praised a lot for its visuals and for its horror elements. It was also criticized for having a lot of levels where you're battling either androids or humans. And now that I've played the game myself, I offer a kind of rebuttal to that. I think if you have the alien on every level from start to finish, it would diminish the horror factor immensely with the game. The more you get used to the horror, the less impact it has. So taking away the alien for a level or two and then reintroducing the alien, I think that impacts harder on the player itself. And especially when the alien gets reintroduced, it usually is introduced in a situation where the difficulty ramps up a little bit again, where you have less hiding spaces or just more random things from the level itself that makes it more difficult to sneak around undetected. So I think it is a positive to the game to have those levels where you're not constantly being chased by this murderous beast.
Yeah, and I think they made the build up quite well. Like the first 40 minutes of the game is just like building up the scare factor, because it has that intense music and you still have to go through tight spaces and interact with passengers that tell you all the horrors they've been through, and then you actually like see the monster and then the shit goes down.
Yeah, I think I agree with North. The build-up was done very well. It made me think about Dead Space 1, where you're 5 minutes into the game and they introduced the not the xenomorph, the whatever the aliens are called in in Dead Space. I think that was done poorly in Dead Space. I think they introduced the threat in Dead Space too quickly. There was like almost no build up to the thing. I mean, with Alien, obviously you know that you're gonna see an alien, or if you don't know about the Alien franchise, then that would be weird. But still, like going through the station, which has like almost no living people, you hear the sound design is so fucking nerve-wracking in that game. You hear the crumblings in the vents. You constantly hear it. And it gets faint and it goes away for a little while. Then it comes back and you hear when it goes above your head and shit. And before they even introduce the alien, you hear it there too. Or you hear random clinks or clunks like from the distance, like somebody like tipping over like some metal or something. The sound design is absolutely fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that is for horror games, that's super important, because even though we know what a xenomorph is, I feel like everyone on the planet knows what an alien looks like. But like even knowing what it looks like, your imagination is way scarier than whatever you know is up there. So like you said, just hearing like the stuff in the vents, you're going to work yourself up way more than the game ever could just by showing the alien running around. So sound design is that's good that they really focused on that.
And it's even like they have the same vents as they have in the first movie, where it's this round circle that kind of like it shuts off like in this weird kind of thing and opens up in this weird like way. Going in the vents, they're fucking pitch black. So you go in there and you have a little flashlight on, of course. But the claustrophobia, like it hits, and because you hear the alien in the vents and you're in a fucking vent. So and because it can be fucking anywhere. I died in one event. I died in a vent once. And up until that point, I had convinced myself that if I go into a vent, the alien can't fucking come here. Until it fucking killed me.
I think I took a clip of you like getting scared because you were like inside this vent and you like hear the footsteps, and you like 5 minutes earlier you were like, I wonder if the alien comes to the vents. And then you go like there's like floor above, the alien walks there, and you're like crawling through the vents, and you're like, oh shit, like something's like behind me. Is it coming behind me? And you look behind you, it's like right there.
Yeah, it's fucking runs towards me and I'm like, ah!
That's awesome.
There was also like later in the playthrough, the alien was chasing me and I was doing a little gamble if I could get into the vent quickly enough, and I got into the vent. And at that point I was like, I wonder if he follows me. And sure enough, I turn around and I look at the vent, and it fucking opens up and fucking crawls in and shit, and I'm like, oh fuck, man. At that point I had my little trusty little flamethrower, so I was okay. But yeah, it's those, I think effective horror to me is situations where it's the imagination. Like when you have a threat looming, but nothing like happens really. I think the anticipation for something to happen is greater than the actual like act of something happening. But yeah, that's the clip that North took of when I got fucked by the alien in the vent.
Yeah, he got you good. That's awesome.
I highly recommend Alien Isolation. For a 2014 game, it looks fucking phenomenal too. The only things that don't look good are humans themselves. There's something off with their faces. And I mean, the androids look not like human, and that's by design. But the actual humans, they look a little weird.
It's like they have no emotion on the face, and they're like, I'm supposed to be scared right now.
Yeah, it's very like it reminds me of that time when games started to have more like humans with like actual human features, but it not just right about how they're supposed to react or have emotion. Game development wasn't really that far at that point. But I definitely recommend Alien. Phenomenal game. I probably would rate it a little bit higher than the general critical reception was for it at its time. It's like I think it's one of those games that we see less and less these days. Just a pure single player game with a a story with a beginning, middle, and end, and then it just ends, and then the credits roll. Although it did end. I said in the stream that I don't understand the ending. I was like 15 beers down at that point. I do understand the ending. I'm not that stupid. I think the ending was good. There was also a point in the game where I said something along the lines, wouldn't it be cool if Alien would evolve into Aliens? Like referring more to like how the second movie like raised the stakes compared to the first movie. And sure enough, they fucking did it. I'm not gonna say how though, but it went from Alien to Aliens, and I think that was a very smart decision by the development team. So yeah, do recommend.
I would definitely give it a shot. Is it so? It's basically like an FPS with horror elements in it.
Yes. Without the shooting part.
Oh, okay. So you don't have weapons or anything to really fight the.
So there is guns, and you do use the guns in certain situations. But I would not call it a shooter in any way.
Okay.
But it's definitely first person. So, dudes, do you guys think now would be a good time to reveal our big plans?
Yeah,
I think so.
All right, people, listen up. So, ever since we started this podcast, there's a bunch of things that we did that I think is not beneficial for this podcast. So, let me actually pull up a thing. Actually, I can use my fucking bot for this crap. I have a bot. Pantsless, again. I can't type the fucking... Let's see if that works. My bot is dead.
You beefed it.
Yep, my bot is dead. Alright, so what's gonna happen? This is the last episode on this channel. Starting February, we're going to be on a new channel. Completely 100% dedicated to the podcast itself. This is that channel. Go follow that channel, because you will not see the podcast on this channel anymore. I've gotten 2 followers this stream, presumably because of the podcast. It's sad for those guys because we will not have the podcast on this channel anymore. I mean, sure, I'll host the podcast channel when we're doing the podcasts. So that's the most obvious thing that's going to happen that you guys will see. So the new channel is twitch.tv/Pantsless Podcast. And all the future episodes will go live on that channel. Now, we're also introducing another thing that I think will be extremely, extremely beneficial for all our group. We're going to have a schedule a real schedule. You can almost touch it. So, what is it? We're going to be live on the second and fourth Wednesday every month at 7 p.m. EST. Now, right now, the channel is pretty barren. It doesn't have anything, no art, no descriptions or anything like that. All that will be done when we go live for the first time on the other channel. At least Trevor and me, we're gonna sit down and work out all the small details. The schedule include 15 more beers. Maybe 20 beers. Who knows?
We don't like to put a limit on beers.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's be real here. So we're gonna have 2 episodes per month, second and fourth Wednesday every month. The episodes will also be around 2 hours, so they're gonna be about 1 hour shorter than what we've done thus far. I think everyone can agree that shorter episodes will be more digestible. They can be more focused. And maybe less wing it mentality than this episode is. Who knows? This will also mean that because I'm the only one in this group that has a work schedule that is 24/7, it means that there will be episodes that I will not be on the episodes hosting, like I've done thus far. Don't worry, someone else will host, and it'll be good. And because of some cosmic joke, I can only assume there's a higher power fucking with me. I'm not going to be on either February episode. When I get my schedule for my work, it's always 6 weeks in advance. 6 weeks of like shifts. I have 5 night shifts in that 6 weeks. One is a 2-night stint and the other one is a 3-night stint. And they both fucking land on the fucking podcast days.
Of course.
I cannot believe. I mean, I assume that there will be some episodes that I can't attend, but it really feels like some sick cosmic joke has been played on me. Because I mean, fuck, I will take steps in the future though to ensure that I will be off, so it's good. It's gonna be good. So
that's unlucky.
Yeah, it is. It's truly unlucky. So to recap, new channel. Twitch.tv/Pantsless Podcast. Live every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. And 2-hour episodes. We're also gonna upload more to the YouTube channel. I've agreed to kind of cut the episodes in bits and pieces and upload individual videos of individual topics. I don't really know yet how to do that properly, because obviously if we talk about something general, the difficulty becomes where does the conversation start and where does the conversation end, and what's the bit to upload to YouTube. Oh, that's our channel. Nice, North. Thanks for linking that. Yeah, we don't have a specialized like URL because we're nobodies.
We're 1 sub away from 20 subs, so
somebody fucking subscribe. I will personally. I can't say. I'll get banned.
Just like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, Radigan knows how it's done.
Hey, I had a YouTube channel for a time. I know how to swing it, dude.
Damn, bro. But yeah, I'm excited for these changes that we're gonna make, and hopefully everyone else feels the same way. Because of the schedule and stuff, it also enables us to have we can plan more around like having guests on and stuff. So for instance, for next month, you will not see me here. We're still gonna be 4 people, but Sully is going to be on for both of those episodes. I will watch though. I will watch them live, and I will judge everyone individually, rigorously. And by the end of February, you guys know who will who's done good and who's done bad. Time to start sweating it. Who? Max Sully Sulkin, who we just call Sully, will be instead of me on the February episodes. He's been on the podcast previously too.
On his brand new mixer, I think it's just Sully Sulkin, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
The rebrand, new platform, new me.
Yeah, Sully's moved to Mixer and Trevor moved to Mixer. Trevor, you can find at Trevor T Miracle. Not Trevor that Miracle. But yeah, those are the plans. Hopefully they work. Why? I don't see why they couldn't. And yeah, new decade, new year, new plans.
New podcast.
Yeah, the same fuckers though.
yeah, no, the same bullshittery for sure.
Yep, exactly.
So don't forget to go out and pester all your friends and your parents and your grandparents. Tell them to watch the podcast so we can get big and rich and then not do this.
I can't wait for December so we can talk about Soldier Boy again.
Yes, my favorite time of year, Soldier Boy.
Yeah, damn.
That's honestly, we just need to start tweeting at Soldier Boy to try to get him on the podcast in December.
Hopefully he's out of prison by that time. True. Unless he's already out of prison. I don't fucking know. I know he was in prison. Or maybe he is in prison.
I don't remember.
I think he got out, but he said he was gonna do the comeback of the year, but we didn't see the comeback, so I don't know.
Oh, was the comeback last year, or was he talking about this year?
No, it was supposed to be last year.
Oh,
like after
well, he was in prison last year. It was hard to do a comeback.
Yeah. He had 6 months to do an album, a book, and a movie, I think. And he didn't release any of those.
Yeah, he can't even put out music anymore. That's what he did.
Damn, yeah.
Well, he's an avid gamer, so he's probably just spending his time playing games.
I mean,
grinding that Fortnite.
Yep.
An avid gamer. Yeah, that's it's a good title for him. But what else have you guys been playing?
I have been playing Celeste for the first time.
Nice.
And it's really hard. I've died hundreds of times already. But it's actually got a really good story to it. Like I'm really shocked for almost how, I don't want to say that the gameplay is simple, but it is very straightforward. I mean, it's just a kind of a bog standard platformer with no kind of combat. There are enemies, but there's no kind of combat. And you just have to get to the other side of the screen. But it just does it so it's just good. The movement is super tight. The dialogue is super. It's good. Like the story, again, these indie games that look like they're one thing, like with Katana Zero and The Messenger and things like that, it on the surface, and maybe it's just like my brain is hardwired, like if it looks like it's just a plain old platformer, then it must be just a plain old platformer. Because these ones that like Celeste, that end up having these like deep and pretty relatable stories, like on a kind of like a more psychological level, because you do go through Celeste and see Madeline struggling like the whole way to climb this mountain. She struggles with a lot of stuff, and she has literal inner demons the whole game that tell her these things, and you see her fighting that the whole way, just like the anxiety, the stress, the pressure of doing what she knows she has to do, and meeting these people along the way that are so endearing towards her, like just right out the bat. Like the guy named Theo, who had to have come straight out of Seattle. He's a giant hipster. His text box even has like green flannel in the background. He talks about taking selfies all the time, and the only the only audible dialogue so far in that game, other than laughing, is him saying YOLO. And it's, at first I knew he was gonna say it and I was gonna hate it. I was like, I hate this guy already. But then he just kept talking, and the way it said YOLO, I was like, I was wrong. Theo's my boy. I'm gonna die for this man.
My man.
And it's just good. It's much better than I honestly I could. If this is, in my opinion, this is one of those times that a game developer could have said that it's an experience or a story like I've never been through, and I would have been like, you got it. This is very unique. You are right here.
Yeah, I played Celeste I think last year, around the time it came out, and I don't really remember a whole lot about the story, but I do remember it being a super tight like puzzle platformer, where, I mean, it has tight controls, a simple premise to the gameplay, and it's executed like very, very well. Like there's a simple goal, just get to the other side, and then how you do it, whatever. But it's like it's in its simplicity, it excels because it does that simple thing so well. And I think that it's one of those games where the design of the game is very deliberate. They, instead of like giving Madeline 15 different abilities, you do the one thing. You jump, and then you touch the thing, and you jump again. I think the simplicity really works for the game. Very, very fucking solid game, and also an enjoyable speedrun to watch. It works extremely well as a speedrun, as like a viewer experience.
And I definitely I have to echo that. It's simplicity is where it shines, because there's so many games that, and it's not always bad, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, but there any more puzzle platformers like that, almost like and I loved The Messenger, so I'm definitely not talking down about it, but your abilities at the beginning of The Messenger and what you can do at the end of The Messenger are worlds apart. But with Celeste, you start the game and you can run, you can jump, and you can hug walls. So far, I'm 5 chapters in. I can run, I can jump, and I can hug walls. And those are the tools you're given, and that's all you need. Like, but it's the level design is so well executed that even with those, you have 3 options: run, jump, climb, and you still have to like sit there and think through the puzzles. Even whenever you've only got three options, you still have to give it a lot of thought, because they utilize those 3 options so well.
And it's what I'm not trying to say that they run the entire game through with those 3 concepts. They do introduce like other puzzle elements in the different worlds that elevate the gameplay, and they mix it up, which again it really serves well for the game to have like a specific area with a specific kind of puzzle theme, in a sense. Yeah, I mean, it's Celeste is one of those puzzle platform games that people will still be playing in 10 years, definitely. Because I would say that it's timeless already, because how it looks and how it plays. You just need a controller.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't imagine playing that with a keyboard.
Oh yeah, don't do that. I think some of the speedrunners actually do keyboard with that.
Well, they're insane. So.
Yeah, I mean they're. But I do recommend Celeste as a game, and I do recommend watching a speedrun of Celeste.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been playing the new Kakarot game. There's not really a whole lot to talk about with the new Dragon Ball Z game. It's telling the same story that Dragon Ball Z games have been telling for forever, just a little differently. It's more of an action adventure game instead of a fighter. It's still fun because I'm a big DBZ fan, but I could see where it might not be if you weren't, because a lot of the charm in the game is that it's Dragon Ball Z, and I think if it didn't have that IP slapped on it, it probably wouldn't be as good, just because it is a lot of the combat in it is fairly brain dead. There's a little bit that you have to do, like certain boss attacks that you've got to dodge, but for the most part, you just have to punch them and teleport out of the way of their punches. It's not boring, but I could see where it could get old fast if you're not like invested in the other stuff. So far, I'm a little mad that they've skipped certain portions of the story that, in my opinion, were integral to the story and could have been hours of gameplay, and then they just reduced it to a text box. Like if you're familiar at all, Goku is like the first person in 100 million years to run Snake Way because it's 100,000 miles long. And in the anime, he runs on it, he falls, he accidentally ends up in hell, he's got to get out of hell, he keeps going, he thinks he's at the end, but he gets tricked by a snake princess and he has to fight his way out of that, and then he gets to King Kai's planet and there's a whole arc of him training, and that's reduced to watching him start running. You see him get to the end and he's like, oh, there's King Kai. He jumps up, tells King Kai a joke, and then there's a text box that says, Goku trained well with King Kai. Let's see what's happening on Earth. That could have been game. You stole game from me and put it in text form. Why did you do this? That's so far that I still think it's fun, but it could be better. It could be better.
Do you know how much of DBZ they, or like where the game ends? Do you know if they have all the 3 major arcs?
I believe they have all 3 of the major arcs. I've not looked into it too much, but I have seen like Kid Buu and things like that from the trailers. So I think that they are doing the 3, like 4 major arcs, I guess, if you count the Saiyan saga as well. So I believe it goes all the way from Raditz all the way to the end of the Buu saga.
So presumably you're going to get to Namek and fight Frieza at Namek too.
Yeah, that's been honestly the biggest part of the promotional material that I've seen is the iconic Frieza Goku fiery planet in the background blowing up. That's been the majority of what I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously it's for the fans. The game's probably only made for the fans of DBZ. They've released a bunch of games at this point that retell the same story over and over again. I can't imagine like anybody picking up that game who's not familiar with DBZ. It is cool though that they have this like the story mode, and it's cool that they go through the major stories. I do understand on some level that it's frustrating when they skip story elements that you're familiar with. On the other hand, I do understand that they probably cut those out because there's a shitload of game that they need to make. And but yeah, I don't know like what the development of the game has been or anything like that. So
yeah, it is nice. I mean, it's the first time that we've gotten like a really open world Dragon Ball Z game, so it is going to be interesting to see how much they've really fleshed out the world. Because right now I've only been able to go to one spot, and it was still a story spot. Because, I mean, the Dragon Ball Z world isn't really fleshed out at all outside of the main characters, at least the earth of it. I'm curious how much they've done to really expand on it.
Like, I don't think any particular city is ever named in DBZ.
There's 4 cities that are named in Dragon Ball Z.
Are they just generic names?
Yeah, it's North City, South City, East City, and then I think because Hercule killed Cell, they let him rename West City to Satan City.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
those are like the 4 named cities.
I think those names also like serve they serve kind of like to support the plot in a sense.
Yeah.
To give some form of like direction to the viewer. But that's what I mean, like a lot of like Earth is not really defined in the story. There's like really no locations that are iconic or stuff like that. It's just a lot of the places are just plateaus where they just fight.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah. The majority of the series, if they're ever in a city, I think it's always Satan City, because that's where Bulma lives and that's where Gohan ends up going to school. So I'm sure that's probably going to be the only thing we really see. I'm sure we won't see much, maybe just some filler stuff in the other cities, but we'll see.
So would you recommend Dragon Ball Kakarot to anybody who's not a fan of DBZ?
Honestly, I don't even know. I kind of want to say no. Just because it is a lot of just, unless you just like to button mash, because it is a button masher. I mean, you just sit there and you spam circle with all your might, and every so often you hit X to get out of the way of their circle. And it is cool to like see some of the special attacks and stuff, because there is a lot of customization. You do have like skill trees on every character, and you do have 4 like super attack slots that you get to customize. So I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into like an RPG elements, action adventure type thing that's not really too difficult, and you just want to beat some people up, I would recommend it. We'll see how much gameplay it ends up having. So that could change it quite a bit if it's a fairly short game, because it is. I think you can actually get it on Steam for $50. I think I saw that price somewhere. Maybe it was on Humble Bundle or something. But yeah, we'll see how much game it actually ends up being. If it ends up being a decent amount of game, I probably would recommend it, even if you're not a DBZ fan.
I will also be interested if you ever finish the game. I'd like to know after the fact if you think that they retold the story in a faithful way.
Okay. I can definitely do that. I know I've already seen one inconsistency. And it was that I don't think we ever actually saw Raditz talk to Vegeta and Nappa. And it's not really an inconsistency, they just added more in. It's just additional information, but they didn't really ever, I don't think I remember them ever actually conversing, where in the Kakarot they actually said, "Oh yeah, my brother's there, I'll go." I think it's just implied that they know about each other.
So they took out Snake Way and they put the shit in there instead.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Gravoth might be right. I do remember that there was a flashback of him saying he was going to do that. I do remember that now in the Broly movie. So maybe that's where they were pulling that from. So, but yeah, it's a fun game. I would recommend it if you're super curious about it, but if button mashing and fighting doesn't sound fun to you, then I wouldn't bother.
All right. What else do people have on their minds?
Well, Zombie Army Trilogy and the 4th game coming out.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so North and me have been playing Zombie Army Trilogy. I'll let North talk about it though.
Yeah, this was a whole new concept for me. Basically, I never played any Sniper Elite games. I didn't know basically anything about this game. And Tom was like, "You want to play this shit?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go!" Especially now that the fourth one is coming out, and it looked pretty sweet. Not gonna lie.
Hmm.
And it's basically you shoot zombies and you move forward.
Nazi
That's about it.
zombies.
Oh, Nazi zombies, yeah.
So you
And then
mentioned the Sniper Elite games. Is it developed by the same people?
Yes.
yeah, and it's some sort of, I don't know, like separate game, but it's like part of it or something.
It's an
I'm not
offshoot.
sure. Yeah.
Like
Side
I'm
product.
not sure, but I believe that when Zombie Army was coming out, because the version we were playing is Zombie Army Trilogy, or some Zombie Army Trilogy. It has an episode 1, 2, and 3, and I believe that when episode 1 was released, it was released as DLC for Sniper Elite 3. And then they released the second episode as DLC, and then the third one. And then at that point, they started to just sell the DLCs as a bundle and just call it Zombie Army 3, the trilogy. But yeah, it's a very simple concept game. You have a sniper and you shoot zombies, and you go from point A to point B on any given level. And then it has a plot attached to it, but in my mind the plot is super secondary, because I mean the plot's also you shoot zombies, and you're gonna stop zombie Hitler for wreaking havoc, I guess.
And like each episode, you get like 10 to 15 seconds of the plot. Like, all right, so we know they control the zombies with this stuff. Go get it. And then you start getting it. Like, that's about it. That's
Yeah,
that's basically
the
the
plot's
story
like
for you.
yeah, the plot is very very secondary,
Yeah.
and it is set in set it during the Second World War, because there's like Nazi zombies, and North hasn't seen it yet, but I think it's pretty obvious that we're gonna see Mr. Stashman himself, zombie Hitler.
Mm. But one thing that really bugs me is the guns don't have much variety. Actually, I haven't tried that many guns, but I feel like all the snipers are the same. They all have X amount of bullets, and every headshot kills the zombie, basically. So I don't know. Why would you have 10 different sniper rifles if it's just the same gun over and over again?
Yeah, it really feels like the guns are all the same, and that's because all the guns are the same. Some of them have like minor details, like some of them, like some sniper rifles only have 5 shots and some have 10 shots, but again, like if you hit the head, every zombie dies from one hit. And some of the weapons are semi-automatic and some of the weapons are bolt action. That's the two differences, like in either clip size and like bolt action or semi-auto. Other than that, they might sound a little bit different. The scope is pretty much identical on every weapon, so it doesn't really matter on which weapon you use in that sense. However, there is a clear number one gun, and it's the Lee Enfield, because it is semi-automatic and 10 shots.
I use the Mosin. I don't know what's up with the game. Is it the zombies or the sound effects or something? But it makes me like super nauseous every time we play. After like 15 minutes, I'm like I can't do it.
What? Really?
I don't know why. Yeah.
Oh no, dude, that's some mystical bullshit right there.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me nauseous for some reason.
Yeah, not me. I don't know. I have a huge affinity for the games. I've played them way back in the day. I played with like real friends. Just my my school buddies. But I haven't touched them in a lot of years, and then I saw became more aware that Zombie Army 4 is coming out, and I asked if North wants to play it, One criticism that North, to expand on North's criticism, he also wished that the guns would have some form of like customization. Now, to North's delight, the fourth game will have this, so you get to customize the weapons, and I do think that that's one of the kind of like, if you don't have that in your game at this point, then I don't know what you're doing. And yeah, they're gonna call it Zombie Army 4, so and it's going to be a standalone. So I'm at least assuming a full campaign, especially if they're gonna charge 60 buckaroos from me.
Do you know if they are gonna charge $60?
I'm not super sure.
It says $49.99 plus, so I don't know what that means.
So what? Maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it not on the Steam yet?
It's on Epic Games.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I guess I won't play with you guys. Sorry.
Oh man.
Like I watched the trailer a couple of times, and it seems like it's gonna have a lot of more variety, enemy wise. So it's not all the like the basic zombies just running at you. It's gonna have like bigger or smaller zombies and different kind of explosive zombies. Apparently, I think I saw some like review gameplay or something like that, and it had like a tank, and the zombie was like riding the tank.
Oh yeah. I seen that too. The tank is the zombie.
Oh.
What?
See, that's how I interpret it, because the tank is like fucked up, like it has some weird things on it. So that's how I perceived it. It's like the tank is the zombie. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I've been smoking something or not. But if that's true, then fuck yeah. Let me kill the zombie tank. Like
also in the trailer, there's like a massive zombie shark, and it looks pretty dope.
Yeah, see, like this is what I mean, like, because they're calling it Zombie Army 4, and I really hope that they elevate the premise. I mean, they need to do that. Like, don't give me what the trilogy is. Give me customizable guns. Give me zombie variety. Give me location variety. Give me like, Zombie Army is supposed to be some weird shit, right? Because I mean, you're dealing with Nazi zombies. So please do something wacky with that.
Yeah, I feel like they should have a little bit more comical approach, because it's not a very serious game. So why not have some sort of comedy in it?
Yeah, like, because how the trilogy is, it's like it portrays itself as like kind of like pseudo like or semi horror, but they never go like full horror. And they do a little bit of comedy here and there, but it's very like specific. So I mean, it really is kind of like a generic shooter. I like Zombie Army Trilogy. I wouldn't necessarily really recommend it to anybody, because it is very generic and it really shows its age. And it really, like, if you know the history of it, it was just DLC, like tacked on DLC. And it just happened to become really, really popular.
But it's good fun to play with friends. I wouldn't play it alone, ever.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, definitely, that it's one of those games that if I would not have anybody to play with, I would not play it. But like I played with my friends like years ago. We had like 4-man squads and highest difficulty, and those are the gaming moments that I remember the most and having the most fun with. Like, especially if we died to like there's certain like sections where it's definitely like horde mode, or like kind of like reminiscent of tower defense, where you place your traps and you wait on the zombie, you press the button and the waves begin. And on the highest difficulty, some of those get really fucking difficult. Like, even with 4 people, it's fucking hard to overcome it. But those were some very fun moments for me.
They're gonna have 3 different versions of the game, or like sell the 3 different versions, like the base game, and then it's deluxe edition, and then it's super deluxe edition.
What the fuck is
So, yeah.
Super
They're gonna
Deluxe?
run out of words.
What the fuck is Super
Zombie
Deluxe?
Army 4 Super Deluxe Edition includes the main game and an entire season of post-launch content. So are we gonna have to buy like DLCs if we don't buy the Super Deluxe Edition?
See, I'm not gonna buy DLC. I'll play the game with you and with Trevor. Trevor promised to play with us. Hopefully lag will not be an issue. By the way, I really hope for it, because otherwise it sucks for Trevor. I'll play. I fully expect to get a full campaign of the game. I'll play that campaign with you guys, and after that, I'll probably won't touch the game in another 6-7 years.
Yeah. Also, if you have no idea what Sniper Elite is or any type of game like that, it's basically when you make a cool shot. You shot someone in the head or the spleen or something like that.
Or the
You get, like,
balls.
this- all the balls. You get this like bullet going like meow. And
Everything
cool slow motion
explodes.
explosion. Yeah. And it's pretty sweet. But it gets annoying after you do it like 10 times in a row.
Yeah, yeah. The Sniper Elite games are most known for their own version of bullet time. But yeah, the Zombie Army Trilogy has one enemy is like just a skeleton, and the skeleton has a beating heart, and you shoot the heart so the skeleton dies. Every single time you shoot that heart, it gives that bullet time thing. It don't matter, like it every fucking time. So it's when you see there's like, oh shit, 100 skeletons. Well, oh, cool shot. Oh, cool shot again. And after the 30th time, it's like, oh well, yep, I know how to shoot the heart. Yep.
I think they should have had it so that you only get the special effect if you kill like lead zombie or something like that. Because it gets boring fast.
It gets really boring. I think
even
it's
in
like
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I mean, I don't think Nort sees my kill cams, and I don't think I see Nort's kill cams. But it's still annoying. I mean, I think it's not intentional. But I mean, whenever I see skeletons, I run right up to their face and then I kick them. And they explode. Oh, I can turn it off too? Well, shit. I'm learning new things about an ancient game. Thank you, Funami.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to, utilize it, I guess. Yeah, we'll probably stream Zombie Army 4 when it comes out. It comes out next month, I believe. All right. Does anybody else have something on their little minds?
I played golf with Trevor and Sully this morning. And it's a shit show. That's what it is. But it's good fun. Like, I haven't played that game in like a year or so, but it surprisingly puts like restraint on your PC, because every single one of our GPUs was running 100% at all times on a game like Golfit.
It's because it's programmed to hell.
Yeah, like 150 FPS, and still every single GPU is like all the way there. It was weird, but it's good fun. Definitely. Ball control is hard. I think they added some new maps. We tried some custom maps too. They're pretty awesome, but I think it's not very popular game nowadays.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I think they're specifically made for streamer groups, where you play it on stream. At least that's
Also,
how I perceive a lot of games these days.
Yeah. Also, we played Don't Starve together. We're not very good at it, and Sully burned like all the berry bushes and the forest and the base. and everything around it.
I told Sully to come with me because we needed charcoal and you need to burn wood for charcoal. So I told Sully come with me, and then I specifically said, don't light these trees on fire. And then he runs up to the fucking tree and lights it on fire. And then he's like, Tom, I think I fucked up.
And like we have no idea what to do there, so we would just watch the fire spread all across our base.
Sully was trying to cut the fucking wood down. I was standing by watching the shit show fucking ensue, and it's like
Trevor trying to pick up the bushes with the shovel, like, what the hell, Sully?
I was fucking screaming, I told you not to light those trees on fire. And Sully screams back, I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, we're not very good at it, and I have no idea how to progress.
Oh man.
The game after a certain point. Like, I don't think we ever had a point where we would have self-sustained amount of food, like, so that we don't have to go out every single time to find food. Like, it's hard, especially with like 4 people. It's not easy.
And Sully.
And so
Man, I can just hear him just getting real quiet and then just saying, Tom, I think I fucked up. I just hear him in my head saying that.
I was talking with Trevor after we played. I played the single player version like fucking years ago when it came out, and then I did get Don't Starve Together. I've played with a couple of different people. I think the biggest kind of criticism of Don't Starve is it's kind of twofold. And the first one is kind of like a lot of people like it. The game does not tell you what to do. There's zero hand holding, which is nice, but it also is like there's no goal, there's no quest, there's just survive, and people like that. The other one is that to progress, to make something happen, it takes forever, because in the beginning you're really struggling. You need to find food constantly to not starve. And you need to make to continue surviving. You need to make a crock pot. You need to make like fucking those farms and shit. But to get to that point, it takes forever. So the basic loop becomes repetitive. You go out, you chop some wood, you get some berries, and then you barely fucking scrape by. So it takes forever to make anything happen in the game. But once you get into it, that game goes fucking deep. I've seen like late game gameplay of it, and it's like it's wild. There's a bunch of content in that game, and they have a shitload of DLC too for the single player.
Yeah, I think I played the one where you're like on a stranded island, and then you have to hop from island to island. Yeah, I really like that one. That was cool.
I made a boat in our multiplayer game. I made the boat, just the boat, and then I had a paddle, and then I set sail, which meant that I was just paddling, and I got like super far away, and then the nighttime hit, and I was like, oh shit, I don't have any torches. So I died on my boat. And then because the tides are not like still, the boat just drifted away. I lost my boat. And it wasn't even the first boat that I lost. I lost my first boat because I didn't fucking make an anchor. So when I made the second boat, I made sure to have an anchor. But then I died from the fucking darkness, and then the boat drifted away.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
it sounds like a great time.
Fucking boat. I coerced Sully to come with me, and then I pussied out with the first boat. I said to Sully, like, we can't go with this anywhere because we only have a paddle. And he was like trying to make me go. Like, you fucking forced me to come to this fucking beach and now we're pussying out from this crap. And I'm like, I don't want to go out. Like, we will die. No, fuck it. We won't die. Like, and then I took boat number 2 out and I fucking died.
Sounds like Sully owes you a boat.
Definitely. Definitely after burning every fucking berry bush down. Man.
Oh gosh, he kills me.
I do recommend like don't start together specifically because it's fun with friends. The single player, I would definitely recommend people to like first research it a little bit if to like know if it's your type of game, because it just spawns you into the world and then you just go.
Yeah, the learning curve is steep.
Yeah,
it's
very, very steep.
It's
for sure
the most complicated game that's whole goal is also the title. Just don't starve.
Yeah.
That's the game. But
Yep.
It is so complicated. And that's part of why I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like the idea of like the only thing I'm trying to do is not die. That just doesn't seem appealing to me at all. And I've given it a few shots and I've definitely not gotten very far, but it's just never kept my attention.
I probably put most time in the single player. There was a short period of time, fucking years and years ago, where I got really into it. And I got pretty far into like multiple seasons in, because it goes from like, it has like real seasons like summer, winter, spring, autumn, and whatever. And I had a really self-sustaining base and everything. And then just at some point I was probably chopping a fucking tree down and the tree turned into a big monster tree and it fucking killed me. And that's kind of devastating.
Yeah. And it's like, if you start the game and you somehow like good at it at the beginning, but still you're gonna get fucked because of the seasons, because you're not gonna expect that if you know nothing about the game. So it's basically just doing it over and over again, getting like 12 hours in, and then you die, and then you start from the beginning. That's the single player.
Yeah, with a greater knowledge of what's ahead.
Yeah. And then prepare for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Because I think it in the single player it's also scripted like on night 6 the wolves attack. And if you don't know that the wolves are gonna attack on night 6, you're not fucking prepared for that.
Yeah.
But and the game's way of warning you is that it has the wolves barking like few nights in a row, and then they just fucking attack. Because I remember dying to it, and I remember being super frustrated. Because the game doesn't tell me like, yo, bro, you need to like make a weapon. The wolves just fucking come, and then it's like 6 of them, and you can't like hack them with your pickaxe either. It's a brutal game.
Always just run.
Yeah, into the night. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, into the darkness.
Mm. It's definitely like a difficult game and very punishing. Kind of like Clay's other games too. Like I know Oxygen Not Included is another one of those games that it's super brutal. Like you're fucking 12 hours into the run and then you notice your fatal flaw, and then it's like, I should have done something like 6 hours ago. And then it's just fucking reset. And now you have that greater knowledge about what to do until you hit the next obstacle.
I played Oxygen Included like probably like 20 hours, but I have like started over like at least 8 times because I always make some mistake, or I come to a point where I don't know how to progress, so I just start from the beginning. And it's basically the same concept. Don't run out of oxygen, but
don't die.
Yeah, don't die. Same concept, but instead you're in this 2D box, an area you have to like make yourself as comfortable as possible and try to sustain life underground. Not easy.
Yeah, and like what Chat was saying there about needing to see into the future, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's like some of these games that are meant to keep you on your toes, they do 100%, they kill you unfairly. I mean, in that case, there's no way that you could know that wolves would attack at night. But now you do because you died. That's
better luck next time, sucker.
Yeah. The instance that always pops into my mind whenever I think about that now, and I kind of said it earlier, the first mimic you find in Dark Souls. There's no indication that mimics exist in this world. And then you get like 7 hours in, open up a chest, and it kills you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So now you know mimics are there.
I do think that is on a certain level that is bad game design. Because I mean you're treating your player unfairly, I feel. Because if the player, like, you're not teaching the player correctly. You're just punishing the player just because you want to punish the player. Like having the mimic there, you don't know about the mimic. And I would say every single player that plays that game blind and has no knowledge about the mimics dies to the mimic.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not like saying that I know how to do game design, but I think teaching the player, like, yeah, have the player suffer a consequence, but don't punish the player for that consequence. Like, what if instead of the mimic outright killing you, what if the mimic does something that you don't die from it? Like anything, I can't like think of what it would be, but something that teaches you that, oh, all chests are not chests. That would be more like more fair, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dark Souls is like, it's supposed to punish you for things you don't know about.
Yeah.
In the first place.
I mean,
like,
I would say Dark Souls though is also a game where it overall, I think Dark Souls is fair. When a boss strikes you, it strikes you because you didn't dodge. And it's your fault that you died to that boss. Now, do you know what the boss's moveset is when you go into the boss the first time? No. I do argue that death is part of Dark Souls. But I don't think the boss being like a overpowered boss when you enter, I don't think that's really bad game design. It's just part of what Dark Souls is, because death is very much part of Dark Souls. But I think it's unfair to just kill the player outright because you're oblivious to a chest. I think it's a different thing to kill the player on a boss because the boss just has like super fast attacks or whatever.
You got a point.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Whew. Next game I will play on stream will be Metal Gear Revengeance. I decided this last night when I was a little too drunk.
A little too drunk.
And I bought Metal Gear Revengeance like years ago. And it was a time when I did not have a controller. And that game is unfucking playable with mouse and keyboard. So I do hope that I'll have a better time with the controller. It is like, because I remember using the mouse, because there's certain places where time slows down like very much, and you have a little thing that you need to like hack into bits and pieces, and you move the sword, like he moves the sword from like different directions. With the mouse, the sensitivity is like through the roof. It's super hard to line up the sword with the mouse for some reason, and I hope with the controller it's easier. I mean, I haven't seen other players having difficulties with the game, so
this seems like different from any other Metal Gear game I ever seen. Like, why does he have sword?
Yep, Even though it has Metal Gear in its name, it's not Metal Gear.
I believe it's a much higher, like quicker paced, like action game as opposed to the slow stealthiness of the other Metal Gears.
Oh yes, indeed. It is also extremely over the top.
I guess.
Oh, is that the dude that he's just like this giant jacked guy with like a receding hairline and little bitty glasses? That's like the final boss or whatever.
Oh, I don't know about the final boss.
Well, I know that I don't know if it's the final boss, but I know that and he's like F you, F America, and he's just punching the crap out of the guy. Is that the same game?
You might be thinking about Metal Gear 4.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought it was in Revengeance, but
it's just I know
like this
that
giant jacked businessman that just beats the crap out of you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I do know that though in Revengeance you very early in the game you're fighting this huge fucking robot and you slice the robot in half with your puny sword somehow, and in the process you destroy an entire fucking building. I mean, it's over the top. I'm actually looking forward to all the fucking wacky shit that the game has.
It's like anime level over the top.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you think that Metal Gear overall is over the top, Revengeance is that plus like a million. It's not. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it's quick, fast-paced sword play, and it has huge fucking boss battles, and a kick-ass soundtrack.
It looks like it would benefit like mechanics that Sekiro has, like fast-paced blocking and attacking.
Yeah, you have to remember though that Sekiro came out last year and Revengeance came out like, I don't know, 7 years ago. We're talking about two entirely different games from two entirely different eras.
Yeah, but it would be nice.
Yeah, like what Chad is saying. You are jumping on rockets to reach the robot in the tutorial. Like, that's the sort of shit that I want to play right now. I mean, I'm looking forward for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely considered playing it, but I wasn't sure like how much from the other games you needed, or if it was just its own, basically like its own separate thing.
So you play as Raiden, who is the main guy from the second game.
And he's like a cyborg ninja, right?
Yeah. So it's somewhere it's explained like what happened to him. I don't know if it's explained in Revengeance or if it's explained in Metal Gear 4. Because he does appear as a cyborg ninja in the fourth Metal Gear game. But it's very much not tied to the main series. Other than you playing as Raiden. Oh, chat says it's explained in Metal MGS 4. Okay, so yeah, I'd say Revengeance is completely disconnected from the main series in that regard.
Okay.
But I'll play it here in the coming days. I'll tell you. I'll have a better outlook also on how wacky the game is.
I think after I beat Celeste, I'll probably pick up Hades. I saw that it came out on Steam.
Ooh.
So
Hades is very good.
I was thinking about buying it because it's on sale right now.
Yeah, it's like 20% off. I think it's just for like another day or something. It's not very long.
Hades is very much worth it though. I do recommend. It's a fun action game. And I like Hades for its fast-paced action. I do think the game
ends in 3 hours. Apparently.
Well, shit. Get it while it lasts.
Yeah. No, it was PM, so that's well.
I think it says it's going for like
hours.
another 15 hours or something.
Okay. Yeah, but I do recommend Hades. I think it's a very solid game. I mean, I'm biased towards Supergiant's games anyway because I do think they make quality games overall. I still haven't played a Transistor, and I do planning on that. At some point at least.
The style reminds me of Bastion a lot. Like it feels like it's zoomed out Bastion a little bit. I might be wrong though. That's how I feel.
No, I think that's what I always thought too. Is that it definitely had that same kind of like kind of a strange cross between like hand drawn and almost pixelated kind of look.
And it's like the angle of the camera is also the same, I think. It's not like straight from the top, not from the side either. It's like that 45.
Yeah.
It's also a game that it's designed for the player to play over and over and over again. Which is also like a thing that tickles me very positively, because I mean, fucking Isaac is my favorite game of all time, and that's the entire point of Isaac, is to play it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But Hades is still in early access, right?
Yeah, but they just came out with the new update. Long Winter.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from Hades as much as possible, because I want to play the full release. I mean, it's the same reason why I've not bought the Subnautica sequel. So I wanna play the finished version of Subnautica.
Transistor is 80% off right now.
Yeah, I have not played Transistor. I know nothing about the game, so I don't know if I'd recommend it to anybody. But I'm super biased towards Supergiant's games. I think overall they make beautiful looking games with extremely good soundtracks, and the games I've played so far from them are really good.
It seems like the camera angle is the same and the graphic style is the same as in Hades and Bastion. It's like definitely from them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Supergiant's art style is very distinct.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Then we will we'll call that an episode.
All right, everybody, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yep.
Next episode will be on the new channel.
And on the 12th.
Yeah, 12th.
Yes. For
7
realsies,
EST.
people, go follow this channel right here. Next episode will be there, and it will be on the 12th of February. I don't know why none of my I know why the bot's not working. It's because the bot's not on.
That'll do it every time.
Yeah. It's not a Pantsless Podcast episode without some fuckery.
True that.
Yep.
True that. And we started on time, so the bot, of course, can't work.
Yep. For once, we started on time, but it's never an episode without hitches.
Yep.
But yeah, so to recap what's going to happen. Starting February 12th, so next month, 2 episodes per month, 2nd and 4th Wednesday on the new channel, twitch.tv/Pantsless Podcast. I'll host the episodes on this channel, but all the episodes will be live on the new channel. And 2 episodes per month, but a maximum of 2 hours instead of the regular 3 that we've been doing. Some episodes might run longer on bigger episodes like E3 or year end, but we'll cross those bridges when we come to them. Yeah. It's been hella fun. It's been hella fun having the podcast on this channel.
Yeah.
Nothing will change when we move to the other channel, though.
Except we'll be more consistent.
I think it'll only get better for sure.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, I do believe it will be better. So thanks for watching, everybody, and go home.
Go home.
We'll see you, everybody, on the new channel next month. I will not be on those episodes on next month, but I will be in chat silently judging everyone.
Yeah, I will be here. Most likely, Sully will be here. Radigi probably will be here, hopefully. And Trevor, maybe. Hopefully he doesn't have anything on that day. So we'll see you then.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Wave, motherfuckers, wave!
Pikachu, what are you doing? You
fucking
son of a...
fuck. Bye.